downtown, or actually in South Glastonbury, Connecticut. It's one of the oldest ferries in the world that still operate. I'm going to give you some interesting history. But before I do that, I'm going to show you the view of what I'm going to see. The sun's setting as I get on today, and we're just going to walk across and take the ferry to Rocky Hill, Connecticut. This is an historic ferry. And hey, how's it going?
How you doing, buddy?
Good, good. I'm just live promoting Connecticut tourism.
Okay,
so
good deal.
that's cool. So this is the awesome view we're going to have. Right over there is Hartford. And this used to be run by, back in 1655, this was all run by horse and buggy, or horses. So what they did was they had wires that led across the street, or across the river here. And you can see that takes you into Long Island Sound over there. And we'll get a better angle and a better view of when, but we're just waiting for more cars to join, or more people to walk on, and then we just pay a small fee. It's worth it, I gotta say. If you wanna, let me see. Okay, so back in 1655, they established this, and it was horses were pulling it. Were basically standing over there, I guess, and would pull this across the river, and they would allow people to take or walk on or take their horses and buggies. And being that the Connecticut River drops off into Long Island Sound or the ocean, it's about 20-25 miles that way. People come out here to go fishing, and they just look at this gorgeous fall day. I can't believe it's fall already. It's September 3rd. I mean, where does the time go? But we'll be going right over there. I'm not even going to walk off of the ferry when we get over there. I'm just going to sit back on it and learn to be tranquil, I guess. So they have a solar box here. I don't know what, I guess they're embracing solar. That's good. Just look at how pretty this is. Isn't that amazing? It's a gorgeous day. It's about 78 degrees today. And he's just waiting for either more cars this way, or when you get, if they see on the other side of the ferry over there, there's cars waiting, which there are. It looks like there's about two cars waiting to cross over. So he will leave shortly, and we will be taking this across the Connecticut River. I wanted to do this today with my dad, but I asked him, and he said no, he didn't feel like doing it. And it's not, it's just, hey, it is what it is. Maybe I'll get to do it with him down the road. But there's a lot of history here, and I usually ride my bike down here. Today I drove because it's just had the windows open. It was peaceful, and it's going to be exciting once we get going. But I think they're waiting for more people to get on. But you can actually drive on the ferry here, and they've obviously, look at this boat, how precious that is, a tugboat. It looks like it's been refurbished, and they have the American flag. I love that. I'm a red, white, and blue kind of guy. And this is only going to be operating for another month or so, and then it stops until May 1st, and you can't cross here until May 1st when they open. But it doesn't always open on May 1st because of the fact that we get a lot of rain, and the Connecticut River up here will actually go to Canada. So it goes from Canada all the way down to Long Island Sound. It drops into the Sound. And these waters, this all is flooded usually in the springtime. So all this is underwater here, and it pretty much goes up all the way to where the guy is with the yellow shirt. And sometimes the water even goes way past that. So just want to make sure I'm not in a place where I shouldn't be. because I see there's yellow and red lines. So I'm going to pay cash to go on, but I highly suggest that if you want to visit Connecticut, this is probably one of my favorite attractions to come and see. I'm just going to hand this man my wallet so I can pay when we're ready to take off. And you're going to enjoy the beautiful view of one of my favorite parts of Connecticut, the Connecticut River. And we'll see if we can get some more interesting facts about what he knows. Hey, how much do I owe you?
$2 round trip.
$2 round trip. That is so cost effective. I can't even explain this. So it's only $1 each way.
No, it's $2 each way.
Oh, each way. Oh, so all right, then there you go. So why don't you do a round trip?
So you're gonna get back?
Yeah, I'm not gonna get off. Thank you so much. So it's only $2 each way. Let me put my money back in my wallet. What a bargain. I mean, it costs more for gas these days than it does to do that. So we're just gonna see him turn around. Got my wallet safely secured. Is that not fascinating? Look at that boat. Isn't that cool? And then he ties it on. You cannot have a better day than what it is today. Just seeing the breathtaking views. So now we're taking off from where you would load up your car, which is the port. So do you know any interesting history that you'd want to share? Okay. He's just got to make sure the boat gets tied up. See, that's a lot of work he's got to do. He's got to do his boating knots and stuff. 1655, and it was horses that drew it across.
Correct. Horse on that side, horse on that side. On a treadmill, they pulled the barge across. 1955, they created the barge and the tug has been running on this river continuously since then.
That's great. So 1955, and it's been running continuously ever since. But just look at the gorgeous view that you have of the tugboat taking you across the river. Now, normally we have cars. On our way back, we will have cars. So I won't have the freedom of walking around here because I won't be the only passenger on this boat. So it's important that you respect what the signs say, no standing on. They want you to sit on the benches to enjoy this view. It's important to follow their safety and what they suggest and say, and listen to everything that they suggest. Look at this. Isn't it a gorgeous day for this? Let me know where you're from and if you've ever done a ferry ride like this before. I have taken many friends here that have visited Connecticut. I have taken them on this trip just to sit and go across and enjoy. And that right there is where we came from. Right back there. Now, if the ferry would take us all the way down there, 25 miles, we'd end up in the Connecticut River. I mean, in Long Island Sound, in the ocean. But they bring big ice barges up here in the wintertime. Now you're gonna see him dock here, and there's a few cars waiting for you. So I'm gonna have to sit tight and let the cars get on and not move. So I'll stay in this location. Let me know where you're from in the comments below and if you've ever taken a ferry ride. But this one's been running since, as he said to us, 1655. There was a horse on this side and a horse on the other side that we just came from. And they would draw this ferry across here with wagons, and people were also in attendance. But look at as we enter the Rocky Hill Harbor right here. And then you see, oh, I was wrong. There's only one car waiting to get on. But that's okay. It's all good. Okay, so during the week, it's $5 for a car to get on, and the weekend, it's $6 for one way. But you can't beat that. It's so cost effective because the closest bridge is kind of out of the way. It would take you about maybe 25, 30 minutes to drive this when you could just hop on the ferry and a few minutes later you could be over in South Glastonbury. Because there are no bridges other than Portland, Connecticut would be that way, Middletown, Portland, Connecticut, or the Glastonbury to Wethersfield Bridge, which is, again, it's like probably 30 minutes round trip it would take you to go if you're going to drive. So this ferry does save you a good half hour just by hopping on when it is. Now he's escorting the cars on, so that way, oh, there's two now. And you're gonna see the cars load. I'm gonna get on here. Isn't that so cool? They can just drive right on. As a kid, like 50 years ago, I used to drive. My mother used to take us on this. And it was such a great experience. And we've even taken our bikes on this tour before, which is, it's so cool. The cars can load, and then once they get on, he'll pack it up. And as you can see, it was only like 5 minutes to go across. It wasn't that long. And you have this gorgeous view. And he told us it's $5 for one way for a car to load, and then getting on, but the weekends at 6, because I guess there's more of a demand for it. And you can get out of your car and you can sit on these benches. They just ask that you do no standing, which is said in the signs. There's the Rocky Hill Fire Rescue Boat and the Rocky Hill Police. They're here to be deployed if there's ever an emergency on the river or somebody's acting irresponsible. They're able to respond quickly, which is great. I love our service members. And you can also see some of the marsh waters that you have, because you do get a little bit of salt up here. Not much. There's like 5% salt water, which you can see the seaweed growing right there, just basically because of the conditions. So he's closing up, and we are ready to venture across. And you can actually hear the seagulls from the ocean that come up here. They only have to travel about 20 miles or so. It's actually maybe a little quicker than that, because there's this river just flows. And as you can see, the tugboat is going to turn around. He's going to do the same thing that he did last time. And it just allows you to get off and enjoy the beautiful Connecticut River. So I always say, when I work with our friends at the Connecticut Department of Tourism and Transportation, you hashtag CT visit whenever visiting Connecticut. Back when I was a lifestyle reporter, I interviewed the Lieutenant Governor of Connecticut, Nancy Wyman, and we talked about things to do in Connecticut as far as hashtag CT visit. And it was a lot of fun. That was, oh my gosh, it was 7 years ago this week that I interviewed the Lieutenant Governor. It was such a beautiful experience to be able to do that. Okay, let's watch him take off again. And you can see him turning the ferry around. And that was cool. All the history that he'd shared with us is history that I looked up and remembered from when I was from a kid, and from hearing from my grandparents and great-grandparents who used to tell me about this ferry. And I remember my grandpa used to take me on this ferry with his pickup truck, because he was a contractor, so he built a lot of the houses up in the hills over there. I don't care, that's cool. I grew up on boats. I know all the knots. So my grandpa used to take me on here, and we used to go into the center of South Glastonbury, and he'd buy me a root beer float, which is vanilla ice cream and root beer. There was an old style, sit down establishment that you could sit down and get a, and look at this as the boat takes off. It's so, I love how they keep it, every year they paint it, they keep it fresh, and they keep it looking good. he's all set to go. See where we took off from. Please give this a like if you're on, and a share, as that all helps the algorithm. And we'll be heading back to there. But one thing I remember as a kid is we always jetted out to go back. And I'm assuming that's the way the channel is, because right there I can see floating like seaweed or grass. So I'm sure it's shallow ground there. But my father and I used to take our boat on here when I was a child, and up until a few years ago, we used to come out here and take our boat. Again, that right there is going towards Hartford, Connecticut. That's Rocky Hill, Connecticut. Right over here is the beautiful historic town of South Glastonbury, Connecticut. And down the river would be heading to Middletown, Portland. Then you'd go into all the way down to Essex, then Old Saybrook, Connecticut, Deep River, and then you'd be plopped into the ocean, which is Long Island Sound. As he's preparing for, oh, thank you so much. And they even give you a receipt, which I guess that's cool. It proves that I was on here, right? Let's look at this. Isn't that great? I just thought I would come on here quickly and share this experience with you. Enough looking at me. Let's look at the view. What you can see, look at our good old American flag. I love it. It's flying nice and high. You see the people fishing off the peninsula there, the little peninsula. People are getting in their cars to get ready to get off. It's so nice to see people supporting this. Look at how pretty this is. If you haven't seen this from the beginning, please start from the beginning and watch this. We heard some interesting history from our friend here who shared with us about in 1655, this used to be done with a horse and buggy. Two horses on either end. The year 1655, I can't even fathom that. That's like incredible. Now, this is where I go walking along here. There's a little pit trail, and I'll take you on that trail next before I end this live. And then I've taken people on it before, but usually on my Instagram account. And look at the white bird out there. I think that's a crane of some sort. I'm not too birdly. I don't know my birds, but I'll zoom in so maybe somebody can tell me what kind of bird that is. Isn't that cute? Just sitting there, probably looking for some dinner. It's about that time. Yeah, so let me know where you're from. I don't have any comments yet. The cars are starting off. We let them go first, and then I will walk off. And I'll take you on the quick 5-minute trail that you can see the river from that way. And also share with you more history about the Connecticut tobacco farming. Thank you so much. Thank you for this. This means a lot. Thank you for the great information about the horses. Hey, I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. You too. Be safe. So right here is the trail and they were so helpful. They were just saying that blue plaque shares with you the information of what they're doing. Now they're going to be closing soon. I think their last ride's at 7, but they have more boats on the other side. So right here there's a little parking lot. If you want to bring your bike down here, there's even an outhouse. Back there is the tobacco barns. And over here they even have picnic tables. And this is up. Somebody's firing their gun. I love it. Right over here is the trail that I know friends that come here to go bird watching. I have a good friend who is a professional bird photographer, and she comes out here to capture some birds. This is only a 5-minute walk. And the signs here all explain the history of the ferry. This talks about For approximately 350 years it's been around. And look, right there you have the view of the river behind you. That is amazing. I just love that picture. That's back when the horses used to pull it. Super cool. Again, please hit the like button on this and let me know where you're from. And if you haven't seen this from the beginning, I highly recommend watching it because we got some unexpected history from our friend who runs the ferry. I didn't tell them I was coming on, but I did when he saw that I was live, and he was gracious enough to give us some history that was really fascinating. Again, there's benches, and over here you'll have an opening at the end where you can see the sun shining through. It's a great place to watch the sunset. And I'm blessed tonight that the mosquitoes aren't out because normally they're in full season here, but maybe they're becoming out of season. So striped bass and American, these are the two different types of fish that are native to this area. Now in the fall, when the leaves start to change colors, this is a beautiful time. It's very majestic, very colorful. It looks like Crayola crayons. And right here, you're gonna see several benches with an opening that will allow you to sit and watch the sun go down. That's where, so this is a quick little jaunt, little roundabout that you can walk on. But I highly recommend you to hashtag CT visit whenever looking at Connecticut tourism. Like when I used to interview the lieutenant governor on my news station, I would be, that's what we would be talking about, is promoting Connecticut tourism. It's funny, now I'm not a lifestyle reporter, but I do it on YouTube for all of you guys. And I hope you enjoyed the ride that we took. The ferry is now docking in Rocky Hill. And you can see the little waves it created, but that's just so tranquil. And then right here, you can continue along your walk, and there's more history right here. It says big ships and big docks. This talks about in 1892, from 1892 to 1931, this dock was used for the steamships. Hartford and Springfield remains of the docks can still be seen when the river is low by 50 yards to the south. That is so cool. What interesting history that is. Just look at how beautiful this day is. Isn't that gorgeous? And again, you can sit here on the benches and enjoy this view. And over here, you're gonna have a different view of, well, I see corn, not tobacco. So they haven't harvested the corn. I'm assuming this is probably cattle corn, but it has a nice view of South Glastonbury and up into the mountains. All the houses my grandpa built for people. And my great-grandpa and grandma and great-grandma used to harvest tobacco, which these were the fields right there, and you could see tobacco farms off in the distance. And these were the carriages that my grandmother used to drive, that would have the tobacco, and she would bring it down here. So it's so fascinating that they talk about my great-grandparents in these signage. Now, those of you who are familiar with the Sacred Grove in upstate New York, this reminds me of the Sacred Grove. It's very special. I love the Sacred Grove. And so this is my little version of the Sacred Grove that I come to. And we're almost done. In 2 minutes, I'll be back at my car and I'll sign off. I just want to see, there's some more signs up here, along with benches you can see. And then I'm gonna head back and get some dinner. Looks like I had no comments, which is fine. if people aren't yappy today, which is good. I go with the flow. And now you can see all the light. That's where the parking lot is. So it's a quick walk you can do. I think it's great for us people in our legacy years, like myself. And this again talks about my family's heritage with the moving freight. Long before the trailer trucks was king of the road, the river and the railroad were the primary source of transportation for people and cargo. Nonetheless, the cargo was to be hauled inland to mills and shops. The photo above is carrying rolling brook paper stock. So they used to do a lot of paper stock mills here. Is typically how the cargo was brought to Glastonbury's docks for shipping. That is so cool. And I just love how gorgeous that scene is. Again, someone shooting off their gun. Probably getting rid of some animals in their area that shouldn't be there. Please hit the like button. I see there's 2 people on. I'm going to close this now and just say I thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me on this quick little ferry tour. And the guy was so nice. He even gave me a ticket as a souvenir, but I'm just going to recycle it, get rid of it. And I had a lot of fun doing this. Let me know if there's places you would like to see in Connecticut that I can show you or take you to. It was only $4 to go round trip. That's all. It's not much at all. $2 each way to walk on. And if you are a car walking on, it's $5 for the weekend or weekdays and $6 one way on the weekend. Have an awesome day, everybody. Thank you for joining.